Hi there, crafty friends. Welcome and thank you for joining me. Today I thought we would make a super cute Pupkin card using Spellbinders dies, and this little guy is so cute. I just had to get it when I saw it. There is also another one where the little puppy is dressed up as a ghost, but I didn't get it, and I am now regretting that I didn't get it. I wish I would have also gotten that one. I will make sure to link to both of them actually in case you want the ghost in the description. So let's go ahead and get started. We are also bringing in another item. This is the Halloween TikTok add-on set for the Cuckoo Cottage, and I'm hoping to get to use this one in the next couple weeks. But we are bringing in the bat, the ghosts, and the little pumpkin from here. Oh, and also the little spider. We've got the body of our pumpkin. We've got the body of our little puppy. We've just got his face and his feet. And then we've also got the green that goes around his neck, and then the little top of his pumpkin costume. We've got his little basket here for his treats, his snout. Now, the pumpkin, this came from the additional set. This is from the clock set. I did cut this twice so I could have a little green piece for the stem. And then I also cut an extra little circle here so we can fill in the inside of the pumpkin. I've got my bat, I've got his eyes, and the ghosts, I cut that twice so we could have extra ghosts. And I also cut extra pieces here for the inside that goes in their eyes. And then I've also got my little Spidey here, and I cut an extra one of those ovals to go behind his eyes. But let's do some ink blending first. We don't need to do a lot of ink blending, just a little bit. So let's start with our orange. I am bringing in persimmon, and I just want to give some accent to the outside of his costume and just give it a little bit more character, a little bit more depth and dimension. So we're just going to go around the outside of his costume here, just like that. And it is really dark here again. Oh my goodness, we got hit with a pretty good storm the other day, and I'm thinking we might get another summer thunderstorm. It is really getting dark really quickly out there. And then we will also do this little guy here. We're going to have him sitting next to our pumpkin. So now we can do our green pieces. And for that, I am bringing in Lush Forest. And I am just going to go around the bottom of his little piece that goes around his neck and the stem that comes out of the top of his head. Then we can bring in our puppy's body, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to use dough. I don't know if this will be dark enough or if I wanted to use gathered twigs. This looks like it might be dark enough. I just want to give a little bit of color there. Now these inks do lighten, so I'm hoping once it dries, it is still dark enough. I think it will be. That's looking pretty good. And then I am just going to go around his ears because that's really the only thing that's going to show are his ears when they stick out of his costume. So now we can move all this aside and start assembly. And it's really pretty easy assembly. I've got all my pieces matched up that go with each other, and I'm just going to layer them. Let's get our skull on his little treat bag. Then I am going to put the little pieces behind the eyes of my spider, bat, ghosts, and then this other little black piece I'm going to put behind the puppy's snout for his nose. Then for the stem on the little pumpkin, you can just layer that right on the back, and that matches up perfectly. I'll let that dry over here with everything else. And then we can do our little puppy, and he is so cute. So for our little puppy here, I want to cover up his eyes. I am just going to bring in a couple little pieces, or actually, you know what? Let's just cut a strip. I'm just going to cut a strip of black, measure that, and attach that. And then I think for our pumpkin here, the smile on the top of his head there, I want that to be yellow instead of green. So I'm just going to carefully trim out a piece of yellow back there and add that. And then we can add our green piece in the back for our stem. That looks good. And then we've got our little snout on our puppy here. I think we want a little dimension back there. So first, let's get him added to his costume. We have to look at that, find out where to put our glue. We can put just a little bit of glue right back here. And then I think just the tiniest amount there. Make sure his ears are centered. We can add his little collar here. And then I was looking at this. I think we want a thin foam square behind his treat bag and his snout. Just real thin foam squares. And I've got the smaller ones here. So we'll just put 2 on his snout and 2 on his bag. Let's position his bag so it goes right in his mouth, just like that. And then we can add his little snout. And then he's got the handle in his mouth. That is so cute. I just love this little puppy. He's adorable. Now we can add his little feet. And that is so cute. He's just adorable. Okay, so let's move on. We actually need to bring our ink blending back in, I think. I did a panel out of Spellbinders fog cardstock, and then I also did a frame. And for those, I used the double stitch elongated ovals from Pinkfresh. We're going to put our oval on the edge, but I think I want to add a little bit of shading to our background. Let's use a little bit of licorice. And this kind of scares me because I see a lot of people using black and really dark gray for shading around images. And it looks good when they do it, but I feel like when I do it, it just makes my project a little dirty looking. So I want to go super light. I'm just going around the edge very lightly. I just want to give a little depth and dimension in there, not too much, but I just want a little bit of shading. So hopefully that's not too much. I think that'll look cute. That should be good. Okay, so now we need to add our sentiment. So let's bring in our Misti. And for my sentiment, I am using the stamp set that came with my 13 Days of Craftoween. I had every intention of doing videos on that, but they sold out so quickly. Spellbinders sold out and they're not restocking, and I just didn't feel right doing videos on something that wasn't available. So I'm not going to do that, but I am using the sentiment set, and I will be using the Positively Pumpkin-tastic. So let's get this layering piece and our frame in the Misti, and I'm just going to butt that up to the left-hand edge, and we will lay everything out and see where a good position for our puppy and our sentiment is. I think I kind of want it like that. We'll put a bat over here. We'll put our other pumpkin down here, and then our sentiment will go down here. And I just want to make sure that it's nice and straight, and then we have enough room for our little scene. So let's pick that up. We can get everything off of here, put our panel back in there and stamp. And for my sentiment, I will just be using VersaFine. That's a nice black ink. I think that looks good. We can get this out of there. Oh, I think that's centered nicely. I just heard thunder. How is the weather where you are? Is it nice? Are you getting summer weather? Let's add some foam tape behind our frame. And I've just got black foam strips here. And if you take the release paper off before you attach it, it is much easier to curve on your frame. I've got my foam tape on there. Now we can line up our panel. That looks pretty good. So now we can bring in our images. I'm going to put my little puppy over to the right side because I've got my spider coming down. Then I'll put the pumpkin right next to him. And then we've got some ghosts. I think I will only use 3 ghosts. I think that looks pretty good. We're going to bring in some more thin foam squares. I will put thin foam squares behind my ghosts, my little pumpkin, and my bat. My spider, I am going to adhere directly. I'm just going to trim off that top, add a little bit of glue to his body after I fluff up his legs. I want his little legs to stand out. Then for my bat, I've got little foam squares that I cut behind his wings. And I am just going to add a little bit of glue to his body. I've kind of bent his wings. And I want his body to be flat on the card, but his wings are going to pop up. Now we can add some thicker foam squares to our puppy. And I just want to make sure I get him just about the same level as my little pumpkin there. And that is so cute. I love him. He's adorable. So now we can add all this to a card base. And for my card base, I brought in my Better Press plate, and this is spiderweb backgrounds from Spellbinders. And I wasn't sure which one I wanted. If I want him with a spider web that is stamped in light gray. It's actually pressed just a little bit. And then I've got one that I just did dry embossed. You know what? I really like the little spider web there, so we will go with this one. And I am going to adhere this directly to my card base, the background. I still am going to put foam behind our puppy. Now I just need to try to get this centered. Now all we need to do is add our embellishments. And for that, I am just using Spellbinders Fashion Jet Pearls. These will match perfectly. And that card came out perfect. He is so cute. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Please be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this card, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.